Hello, everybody. Welcome to Stupid O'Clock, and happy 46th anniversary or birthday to the Warriors out there, whether you be part of the Alliance or the Empire. So we've talked about the Star Wars anniversary. Can you remember where you were, Dan?
At the premiere.
Movie theater, yeah.
Yep.
Back when the movie theaters were in Northgate.
Oh, yeah. In the mall. Yeah.
In the mall. Actually, now that I think about it, they had the other theaters up the hill over by the IHOP.
Yeah.
I think I saw it there, actually.
No. Those were built in the next year because of Star Wars.
that would not surprise me.
Well, if you remember, at one time, inside was one screen. It was just one screen. Then they split the theater.
I don't remember it being one big screen, but then again, time.
Yeah, it was, and it was the one big screen. Then they split the screen, and that didn't help.
And then, what's the mall they built out on Mountain Creek Road? And
Four Squares.
Four Squares. Thank you. Oh, look out behind you, Joe.
I know.
She's coming right for you.
I'll be right back. I'm getting. You're gonna die. Look.
Yeah, figured as much.
Anyway,
there's this neat shopping mall, brand new shopping mall they built, Four Square Shopping Mall, and it had theaters in it too. And I saw a lot of movies there too, because they also had a radio station I liked. It's one of those. The broadcast studio had a window to the outside, so when you're walking by on the sidewalk, you could see the DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, he take request right there. Hey, what do you want me to play?
The theater that I saw Star Wars in no longer exists. It is downtown Athens. It's now an apartment tower, and it has a cigar shop on the ground floor. And there's still plenty of room in there. I think it's got 2 or 3 other brand new stores, like some kind of upscale clothing store, and where the main entrance would have been.
I liked I saw a lot. They used to have 99-cent shows at Four Squares.
Oh yeah,
and saw a lot of movies there. And then I wound up at Northgate. I saw Star Wars 42 times in that first run they did, because it was out for like a year and a half or something like that. And
I remember the ad. I remember the ads in the newspaper says held over this many weeks.
And then they did another run, like a second run, and I saw it 6 more times after that. So I've actually seen it in theaters 48 times, which was easy to do back then because the matinee was $1.
Yeah.
Mom would drop us off at the movie theater. It was like $5. We'd buy our ticket, buy some snacks, and sit in the movie theater all day.
Yeah. Nobody ran you out at the end of the feature.
Nope. You could sit there. You could sit there and watch the same movie, or go to other movie theaters and watch movies all day
Mm-hmm.
on one ticket. That was the nice thing about the matinee tickets.
My dad was telling me, talking about when he was a kid, he would go to the movies, get his bag of popcorn, his Coca-Cola, and take a nickel home. His mom only gave him a quarter.
And he got to see a newsreel, a cartoon, a chapter of a serial,
Yep.
a feature film,
Flash
and maybe
Gordon.
something else too. Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers,
The Shadow.
yeah, they did one of those.
Superman.
Yeah, that was made for those. There were two Superman serials with Kirk Allen. There were three different serials of the Rocket Man. Let's see, and I got to
Rocket
see
Man
those.
or Rocketeer?
Rocketeer.
No, Rocketeer was the new thing that came out.
Oh.
Rocket Man, King of the Rocket Men, Zombies of the Stratosphere, and let's see, what was the other one called? Riddick the Moon Menace, I think. And they had different characters as the guy in the flying suit, but they had the same
Let's see.
diner-sized spaceship.
Do you remember the little? I want to say they're 4-inch or 5-inch Star Wars figures.
Yep.
Vaguely.
I bought the first one I ever got was Darth Vader. Okay. Had the little vinyl cape. Had the lightsaber that would halfway retract into his arm.
Yeah.
I want to say it was Kenner, but it may have been Hasbro. I can't remember exactly.
I don't recall.
Kenner. But bought it in the toy section at Red Food Store. I'm showing my age here.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, we got trying to remember what ones we had when we were kids. I know we had an R2D2, a C3PO, Luke Skywalker, and Darth Vader. I think we had a Ben Kenobi too. And then my aunt, who worked at Sears, got us the Cantina play set.
Oh.
Which was this little cardboard background, and it had a cardboard floor with little pegs in it because they had holes in the feet where you could stick the figures in and they'd stand up. So you could put them in the little Cantina playset. It came with Hammerhead, Walrus Man, and I think it's
The blue guy.
Yeah. Oh, I had a Jawa. I remember that one. Little Jawa.
Yeah.
And then my brother had a land speeder. Luke's land speeder. He had the X-Wing fighter. I had the TIE fighter, which was cool because you press the button, the solar panels would fly off. And my only complaint about the X-Wing fighter, R2D2 was the knob that would open the wings into the S format, into the X formation. And you had a little lock switch you push to drop them back down into straight formation. You couldn't put your own R2D2 in the X-Wing. So,
Yeah. Now there is one of those little collector's dolls that you could only get by mailing it in.
I think it was a Boba Fett.
It's a blue something. It's called Blue something. It wasn't Boba Fett. It was from the first run series, from the Star Wars series, and it's the blue something or other. That's the it's the holy grail to Star Wars collectors.
The only one that I can remember that was totally blue was one of the guys in the band.
That was actually in Return of the Jedi. Had Max Rebo, little blue elephant looking guy playing drums.
Yeah, okay.
But
That's
no,
the
I don't
only
know.
one I could remember, but Oh,
Oh, well, let's do some news here. We got a lot of rocket news today. Let's see. Virgin Galactic launched their ship to the near edge of space. First time they've launched anything in 2 years. Let's see. And let's see. Trying to see. Why they always got to? They're telling me stock options on Virgin Galactic. I want to read about the mission here. Thanks, Internet.
you got to buy stock to read the article.
Hey, don't laugh. Have you ever tried looking at something on one of the major newspapers?
There's a couple of them I can't look at anything anymore because I won't subscribe.
Exactly. Which, kind of
Blue
money.
Snaggletooth.
A what?
Blue Snaggletooth.
Blue Snaggletooth. I don't remember Snaggletooth.
He wasn't in the movie. It was part of the Kenner's action series that you had to.
Oh,
So they made up a character and then
made you send off for it.
made you send off for it.
Yeah. Okay, origins of the rare blue snaggletooth. I'll send this to you, John, because you can actually read and speak at the same time. I can't.
Oh, no. Okay. The South Korean rocket went up today.
And
Let's see, apparently it did okay and launched its satellites and all sorts of good stuff. And then and South Korea was happy. Let's see here. And in sadder news, Tina Turner died from complications from various health problems at her home in Switzerland.
oh,
Okay, let's see here. Origins of the rare Star Wars Blue Snaggletooth action figure. This came out on April 29th of 2021. Released by Kenner. Hey, I was right. It was Kenner. In early 1978 as part of the Sears Star Wars Cantina Adventure Set. Oh, you're kidding me.
You could have had an extra one.
We never had one of those.
What, the Sears or the
The Blue Snaggletooth and the Cantina
Well, you
Adventure set. We had several of the Cantina Adventure sets.
you didn't send away for it?
Oh, you had to mail in the 2-pack with Guido. Of course, Greedo. I knew Greedo was in it. And then Hammerhead was in it. Oh, they don't mention that. Oh, they show him. Yeah, Greedo, Walrus Man, and Hammerhead. And apparently you had to send off 4 Snaggletooth.
yeah. A snaggletooth out of the little shipping package or whatever is a quick $350.
Well, I don't know if it came in. Well, I don't know how it came packaged. I never got one. But let's see. Where did I go in here? Come on, John, do what you're doing. Let's see here. There we go. Throw that up there, Joe, and I'll let everybody else see what the hell I'm reading.
Hold on a minute. Let me find it. There we go.
Okay, we up. Oh, okay, there we go. All right. It's hard to do 2 screens at the same time. I really need to get a second screen for this thing one day. Let's see. Okay, that's the Blue Snaggletooth action figure, which I like they said, the character was not in thing. There's a Cantina Adventure set, and I told you the little cardboard thing with the pegs in it that you could put your figures on. And then those are the 3 figures that came with it. I'd forgotten all about Greedo. And apparently you send off for this guy. So.
Yeah. And there's the corrected version. That's what he was supposed to have been.
Huh. I do not remember either of the little buggers. Yes. What can I say? All my Battlestar Galactica toys fired darts. Okay.
Hey,
We
I
won't
had
go.
some.
Hey, and see, we just taught some people stuff, something that not everybody knew existed in the Star Wars universe.
Hey,
We had all the fun toys. We had our Battlestar Galactica darts, or our Battlestar Galactica toys actually fired darts.
Yeah.
We played with lawn darts,
oh
and we're
yeah.
still here. It's poor Timmy. Anyway, he should have dodged better, like the rest of us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm watching this. I like watching the shorts, and there's this one video of this kid riding down a hill in one of those new wagons, just screaming and enjoying himself, and flips it.
Did you post that on Stupid O'Clock?
I think I did.
Okay, I've seen it. I couldn't remember if you
He
posted.
flips it, does a couple barrel rolls, and jumps up. Wah!
All the parents are like, "Oh my God, he's dead," and he jumps up like, "Go!" It's like,
And then there's this guy that does this fake Scottish Irish accent, going, "There is a kid that is experiencing life. We need to clone him. For all the other children like that are long grown."
and Carl, you can throw up any Carl's comments you want where he's talking about the old school days. Like, we rode bikes without helmets. We didn't have
Oh Lord,
baby
yeah.
seats in the cars. Nobody really wore seat belts.
Well, the first car Dad bought didn't even have seat belts. The second one did, but that was 3 years, no,
I was
5 years later.
I was thinking about that earlier today. I miss cars with bench seats. Okay. One of my first
Up
cars
front.
was 67 Ford Fairlane. You could actually pull the seats out, set them on the ground outside the car, and sit down and use them as a couch. Right. Riding in the back of pickup trucks.
Oh yeah.
Motorcycle helmet. You bought motorcycle helmets because they were cool, not because you wanted to. Not because the state said you had to, wear one.
Yeah, I remember seat belts were used as a weapon in the back seat.
Leave me down. And they didn't have the little or the they didn't have the roll up thing. The seat belts didn't. You had to click them together and cinch the seat.
Mm-hmm. Dad actually had to put the middle one in the pickup truck. The anchor points were there behind the bench seat in the truck, but he had to buy a seat belt and latch it to the anchor points.
It was a dealer option. Yeah.
Do you remember? My dad was big when he started having kids. He was big on Ford Country Squire station wagons.
Oh yes.
Must have owned 3 of them. Had the seats in the back where the cargo area was that would pop up, and you could put 4 kids in the back of the thing. It's basically
facing each other.
Yeah, it was basically the trunk of the car.
I remember those days.
I cannot tell you how many road trips I've went on one of them damn things.
I once got, I think it was a Ford.
Carl, the young kids of today hear these stories and say, "Oh, you got to be making that up. There's no way anybody let us do that. You would die."
Carl, it's why we got this old. I mean, seriously.
How many people did an Evel Knievel impersonation on a bicycle or a big wheel?
with a 2x8
I
and
cannot
a couple
tell
of
you how
concrete
many.
blocks.
I cannot tell you how many ramps I built in my childhood. You know why I got stuck building all the ramps? We had a jigsaw. I cannot. One of my friend's moms called the police on me because I was operating a jigsaw. I was like 10 years old, 12 years old, something like that. I can't remember what. But I was out there and I was cutting the boards to make the curve that you're going to put the plywood on for the ramp. And she saw me out there. We had the sawhorses. I was running, and we had drawn the arc. I was like, oh, just steadily going at it. And of course, it's up on sawhorses, so it makes so much noise the whole neighborhood heard it. You know, like,
Oh yeah.
Extension cord stretched halfway across the neighborhood.
2 extension cords.
Oh, that thing was heating up too.
Yeah, we were under a tree. I was smart enough to get shade.
No, not from the sun, from the
The-
electricity going through the 2 drop cords. Ah. Oh Lord.
Well, now my dad was a union electrician, or my mom's second husband, the guy that raised me. I kind of call him my dad. But he was a union electrician. We did not have cheap extension cords. We had a 50-foot extension cord, weighed about 100 pounds.
That's called welder's cable.
Yeah, that was a welder. I think that's exactly what it was. It's kind of funny. When you do nuclear welding, you have to heat up the metal that you're going to weld before you can start welding it, because it's something about the metal's designed to withstand a lot of heat. Nuclear reactor. So they have to put these heater bands around the steel before they can actually go in and weld it. Well, the way they keep these heater bands on the steel pipe that they're welding, they use these big magnets. And they're a little bit bigger than a row of quarters with 2 square spots on either end, like somebody welded magnet inside this big steel tube. Okay. And it turns the whole thing into one big magnet. And the heater coil goes up against the pipe, and then the steel pipe thing goes around the edge of it and holds it onto the pipe. We had a dozen of those things at the house. Used them for all sorts of stuff. We had a washing machine. I don't know what it was about it, but when it started spinning, the lid would start going da, 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 da. And there was a switch in the lid that if you open the lid, it would stop spinning.
It would stop it, yeah.
So this thing would shut itself off, basically, or stutter, and it would just take forever. My dad went down there, looked at it, couldn't figure out why the lid would hang up, went over, grabbed one of those magnets, thunk! That lid did not move a bit. Damn thing weighed 5 pounds. And God help you if you... We had one of these steel poles in the garage that was holding up the roof, just a support pillar.
Yeah.
Well, I picked one up one day, said, hey, and I was showing off to one of my friends, said, hey, watch this, clunk. And I could not get my fingers out, and I couldn't get the magnet off of this steel pipe. And my brother came over, and he had to roll the magnet off of my fingers, and had,
See, kids today, they'd have called 911, brought the fire department out, and
passed out.
Yeah.
Um,
the whole time you're thinking, "Oh God, Dad's going to kill me."
He went. I came in, and I'm sitting in my bedroom one day playing with something. I hear this, the whole house shaking. I went downstairs, and he's in the garage on a ladder, and he's drilling these big holes with this drill into the floor supports, the floor joist that are the ceiling of the garage. He's like, and he does that, and he drilled these big holes in there. And he took this big steel pipe, We had it forever. It looked like half a crowbar. They'd cut the tips off of a crowbar and just kept the bar. He put it through one hole, put it through the other hole, went out the car, and he had bought a chain hoist. All the kids got in, helped him push that. We had a Buick, 67 Buick Wildcat.
Oh yeah, remember the Wildcats?
Fucking ocean liner. Okay, and the engine had gone bad in it, and he was going to redo the engine. We all pushed that thing up in the garage. He took the hood off of it, hooked these chains up to the engine, disconnected everything. Next morning, we hear him out there. There comes that engine. You don't see kids do that anymore today.
My dad had something like that in the basement, but his just went through one joist, and then he had like 3 2x4s nailed down it, and then 4x4s on each side of it. Like the old A-frame, but it was. And he was telling me one time that he had, on the way home from work, the motor started knocking in the car. He pulled it in the garage. Well, went by the parts store, got the rod bearings, pulled it in the garage, pulled the motor, put the rod bearings in, put the motor back in, and drove to work the next morning.
Okay. Who remembers this sound when the car engine was running? What was that?
Lifters.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was the timing light.
Oh, yeah.
And people and kids today have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. I might as well be talking about a Model A Ford.
Really, and it took me forever to grasp that you just grab the distributor cap and turn it a little bit and then bolt it down when it was timed correctly.
Hell,
I
today,
helped Daddy. I helped Daddy do that. I don't know how many different times.
hey, today, you know how the kids set timing on their car today?
Boop. Don't laugh. I got one of those things out in the truck.
Well, the serious ones, plug their laptop in.
No. Nowadays, it's all done on a phone, smartphone. It's
yeah.
You plug the module in, you hook into it Bluetooth, and it tells you everything about your car.
Well, the laptop has the software that, you could control the horsepower and all that stuff.
Joe, you can do that with phone now.
Okay.
You ain't gotta have the laptop anymore. I mean, it's me. I like the laptop because my eyes are going and I need the bigger screen. But
yeah,
you'd be surprised what smartphones do these days.
I watched a video. Guy, one of those professional tuners, took a car just like mine, the little HHR, rolled it on to the thing. It had 151 horsepower. Factory stock. Just a few strokes of the keyboard, and he turned that thing up to 210 horsepower. That thing would roast the front tires off of it.
It was.
Problem is the CV joints aren't built for that kind of horsepower.
No. Oh, I was coming home from work one day. Had just had my paycheck cashed and took a right turn off onto a road that was going to take me out to the highway home. Tie rod end, busted off.
Oh, that's a fun ride.
About 40 miles an hour with a police car behind me.
Did you make a sudden turn?
I pulled off on the side of the road and came to a stop about this far from a stop sign post. And I didn't know there was a cop behind me. So I get out of the car and I see, oh, blue lights. Am I going to get in trouble for the car breaking down? And walked around to the passenger side because that was the tie rod end that came off. So I had one tire facing straight forward on the driver's side and the other one facing sideways.
Oh, so it did
And,
this. So it did this. You're going,
and the cop just goes, kid, that's the best driving I've ever seen. Because I got, and it was a Chevy Impala, 1970. So, speedboat of a car. And he goes, that's the best driving I've ever seen. You got the thing all the way off the road, kept from hitting the sign, kept from going in the ditch. Now, you can leave it here for a couple of days, or I can call you a tow truck right now. And I said, I can't afford a tow truck. Let me call my daddy, and he'll come by and pick me up after he gets off from work. And we'll figure out what we need to do. Well, upshot of it was, I went to the parts store. I bought the little tie
before.
rod end puller fork. I bought a new tie rod end. Put the bumper jack on the darn thing on the side of the road. In 15 minutes, I had it straightened back out. Had a new tie rod end on it. Put that fork in my toolbox and go, I may need that again because there's two sides to this thing. About 5 years later, I pull into a parking space at a grocery store. Same thing happens, but on the driver's side. Luckily, there's a parts store by the driveway to get into the shopping center. Walk up there, buy the darn thing, open the trunk, get the fork out, get my wrenches out, put the bumper jack on. A lot of people don't even know what a bumper jack is nowadays.
No.
And
Have you ever seen? There's it's a meme that's out. Guy's got a Jeep, off-road Jeep, got it all tricked out,
with a bumper jack,
and he's got a bumper jack because you can't use any other jack on a jacked up Jeep. They're just not tall enough. So on the hood of his truck, he's got mounts for a bumper jack, big black bumper jacks sitting out there. Some lady called the cops on him, saying that he had an assault rifle mounted to the hood of his truck.
I have actually seen the photographs.
Weren't those standard issue on military Jeeps?
No. Military Jeeps had a scissors jack.
Oh, they had a scissors.
But they're not that high. They're not that tall.
Yeah.
Now, most of the vehicles in the military don't come with jacks anymore.
No, you call maintenance.
Pretty much, but most of us know how to jack up a vehicle without a jack. So, it's not that hard.
I remember when were you in town when Iraq invaded Kuwait?
Yes.
And the 101st was being deployed coming down 75?
No. Wait, where was I? Wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. I was still in Berlin when that happened. My bad.
Okay. They're coming down. The 101st used I-75 or I-24 and I-75 for the first time for what the roads were made, the freeways were made for. Military deployment.
Moving military hardware.
And they did it in just a couple days. But so many people would stand on the side of the road cheering these guys on as they drove by. What are you looking like that for, Dan?
I was just thinking of a couple of the people that park very badly at work and the availability of forklifts at work.
That's okay. That's the bumper jack the guy had on the hood of his Jeep.
Yeah. And it's
And
obviously a bumper jack if you're old enough to know what a bumper jack
bumper jack
is.
is. But if you're stupid enough to see some big black thing with a bunch of holes in it, think it's an assault rifle, yeah, you call the cops.
I guess the cops got a good laugh at that, didn't they?
Oh, man. Yeah.
Okay. That's an assumption, Joe, because you're assuming that the cops are old enough to know what a bumper jack is.
Well, true. There are a lot of young kids on the force now.
And just because you go to the police academy doesn't mean you know what the hell a bumper jack is. So,
we leave YouTube on, and on the Fire Stick YouTube, a video will play. When it ends, you'll get a commercial, and then another video will come up. So it plays all night long. Somehow it popped up on Power Nation TV, where they restore cars.
Ooh.
And they, it's usually a 30-minute show with like 15-minute segment of working on each vehicle. What they've done is gone in and clipped all those and rolled them into one video, 2 or 3 hours long. There was a 72 Chevelle, which is what I owned. That's my car in high school. I had a 72 Chevelle. And this thing, when they rolled it out of the garage, looked like my car. I mean, enough to the point that I was cocking my head back and forth looking, and then they opened the front up and it had a bench seat. And I went, nope, that wasn't mine.
Yep.
But it has the little slots in the bumper. And they actually said, I wish we could find a bumper jack for this thing.
Did you look in the trunk?
Oh, when they took this,
they took it apart.
Yeah, they cut the floor out and put a new floor in it. The paint on this car will never come off. Not short of steel shot blasting.
Mm-hmm.
It's an epoxy primer.
Okay.
Shit's almost bulletproof.
Yeah, there's something like that they're trying to get canal boaters to stop using asphalt to black the bottoms of the boat and seal everything up.
Yeah.
They've got this 2-pack epoxy that's supposed to last like 10 years, whereas the asphalt, you've got to repaint it every 3 years or so.
But getting the boat out of the water, stripping it down to the point that epoxy is going to stick on that asphalt-soaked wood.
It's not wood, it's 40 tons of steel.
Oh, okay.
You're familiar with Duraliner bed liners?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They invented them. Really tough, nice. I don't know if they're still in business or not anymore.
There should be.
But
they made good stuff.
Exactly. I was wondering why they don't. I understand bed liner makes perfect sense, but I've always wondered why they didn't expand it to other things like boats. Take an aluminum boat. Aluminum boats ain't much account. You hit a rocket, things.
Yeah.
Take it in. They strip it down to, bead blast it down to the aluminum, get all the paint off of it, and then rhino-line it or Duraline it, whichever. And can you imagine a boat made out of that bed liner material?
Problem is, it's bumpy, and you need a slick bottom.
Not really. No,
Well,
not for a fishing boat.
yeah. If you're skiing, yeah, you need something that glides through the water. If you're fishing, you're not going that fast.
Yeah.
You ain't seen some of these guys on a shotgun launch at a bass tournament, have you?
Yes, I have. My dad used to do that sort of stuff.
Uh,
And the other thing I've always wondered what they don't make. Why don't they make lawnmowers that the blade area underneath the deck has a rhino liner?
They do. They're about $700-800 push
That don't make
mowers.
That don't make no sense. Because that would be perfect because it would make cleaning out all that old grass underneath the lawnmower so much easier, and you wouldn't have to worry about rust so much.
yeah. The two that I've got now, the zero turn and the push mower, both have a thing where you just put a regular garden hose on it, turn the water on, and it's got a spray attachment underneath that's supposed to have enough, if you've got enough water pressure, to clean out the entire deck underneath.
You're supposed to leave the mower running when you turn that.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
Because it throws the water around.
the blades throw the water around.
Okay.
Yeah, Carl's asking who is Jeremy Miller. That is the young kid on the TV series Growing Pains from the 80s.
He was the only cool kid. The rest of them turned into complete
Douchebag.
Congressman.
Kirk Cameron's got to the point to where one of the reasons he wanted to leave the show is he had to kiss this girl that wasn't his wife.
Sorry, I know guys that pay extra for that.
He became one of those super born
he
again.
became Bible man.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, literally, there's a kids' TV show on some Christian broadcast network that he played Bible man. That's Jeremy. He was the cool kid. So, like Jeremy Seaver, or no, darn, I can't remember his name now.
And the daughter was Melissa Gilbert's sister. She was one of the back in the 80s. It was big to
You're making me
have.
look this crap up, aren't you?
Yeah.
Dawn says
Tracy
Tracy Gold.
And I forget who her sister was.
Let's see here. Had Alan Thicke, of course, played the dad.
Yeah.
Joanna.
He got a girl fired because she posed in Playboy.
Let's see, Kirk Cameron.
Missy Gold.
What?
But what did Missy Gold play in? Dadgummit.
Let's see here.
Why did Kirk get a chick
I'm
fired
looking it
because
up.
she
Give me a
posed
second.
in Playboy?
Let me see. Missy Gold was in
Bible Man. He was that. Oh, Benson. She was the little girl on Benson. That's right.
Okay. Now that one I did.
a lot of stuff, but that was her main Benson. Yeah. You remember Project UFO?
Yeah, sure do.
She was in one of those.
That was one of those anthology type things. So it didn't have a continuing story.
Right. And then
I miss anthology and
you remember
whatever you called them, Dan.
Anthology shows. Yes.
Yeah.
You remember Project Blue Book?
Yes, I remember that.
Sure do.
That was the TV show, not the actual Air Force thing.
Well, both of them
that it was
actually.
based on. Jerry Miller played Benjamin Seaver. Okay, and then see.
Oh, I got to change the subject for just a minute.
Really?
Yeah, I'm proud. I'm showing off.
Oh,
we've already seen your pictures of your grandkids.
My granddaughter. That's the first time she wanted me to pick her up.
Aww.
She has, looked away from me. Now she goes. She doesn't say Papa, but she actually wants me to hold her. Of course, I had to take her to Provino's and
that's
feed
a
her
hell of
food.
a bribe.
Do what?
That's a hell of a bribe.
$135 worth of bribe.
That kid can eat.
It started out I was going to take my oldest granddaughter, and then my grandson wanted to go. Then my son wanted to go. My daughter says, I like eating there too. And I'm like, all right.
Get in the truck. It's going to take the yellow truck for all of y'all.
Yeah.
Hang on to the straps.
Oh.
Now we've got to go. I think it's about 2 weeks from now. We've got to go down, I think, somewhere around Macon for my little brother just got elected the Grand Poobah of his Masonic Lodge or whatever it is, Eastern Star. So we're going to go watch him. I guess it's called the investment, the ceremony where they present him with the keys to the kingdom or whatever it is that they do.
And they're actually allowing non-members to participate?
It's family.
Okay.
It's probably not going to be all that Masonic. It's probably just, like getting a diploma or something, graduation day sort of thing.
I have when I was doing my ghost hunting, I think it was my last trip that I ever went out on. We investigated a haunted Masonic lodge.
Okay, how did that
go? Saying that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
Haunted Masonic Lodge. Haunted Masonic Lodge.
I mean, we got full access to everything.
So what level of Mason did they make you?
I wasn't.
Oh, well, then you didn't get full access to everything.
Yeah, we did. Anywhere in the building, we had access. And we could look at the stuff. Like the voting box. The saying blackball comes from the Masonic Lodge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I found out how when you vote, you stick your hand in this little box that has a cover over it, a cloth cover over it. The ball is black. Yes is a square block that will go through the hole. That's how they vote.
I have an online friend that collects a lot of Masonic stuff from long ago, especially the aprons.
Yeah.
He's really got a nice collection of those. And he goes and looks up all the details and everything. So he knows exactly what it represents and what it means and what degree it is and all this other. I couldn't keep track of it if I tried, but then again, Ask me
Well,
trivia questions about music, and I probably can answer those.
well, I did all the investigation. We did, we picked up some stuff, some EVP stuff like that, and there was a knock. And I sat and practiced, listened to it, practice for when I presented it to them. I presented it to them, all that, and then I did the knock, and they go, "You didn't hear that."
That was a large secret.
He said, "We know, yes, we know what it means. You didn't hear that, and forget how to do it." I'm like, "Okay."
Oh,
And they made us delete what we had on our computer.
I'm surprised they didn't ask for copies.
Oh yeah, they asked for copies and made us delete
Oh,
what
oh,
was.
oh, yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
Uh,
yeah, Carl, I know that knock. I do not know what it means, but I know there are a lot of knocks in Masonic. That one evidently is uh well, where we picked it up and where it came from was in an area that not everybody was at, is in the lodge is allowed
mm,
during, meeting time.
the inner sanctum.
Yeah. What?
I will post it to Stupid O'Clock because it's hilarious.
Mm,
Um
okay.
yeah.
No, the only things I know about Masons are from what little was put in the police records and the coroner reports during the one of the Jack the Ripper murders back
Uh,
in 1888. And I'm sure a lot of stuff has changed, and a lot of it is irrelevant now because, well, I doubt seriously they have changed very much since the 1800s.
no.
They would be proud to keep things exactly the same.
Yep.
But there's just general stuff that the public was allowed to know, basically.
Oh, I was fixing to ask Carl this, but he said he never joined. Said his dad and his brother were and invited me, but I was in D Malay,
Yep, I
like,
understand that reference.
okay.
Um, yeah, that's basically a French Revolution or destruction of the Templars reference. And I know exactly what he's referring to.
Oh,
But
when you said Templars,
yeah,
Oak Island,
possibly.
you've heard, there's no more possibly to it.
Oh, they finally found proof.
They found highly convincing evidence.
Okay.
Um, and of course, they ended the season on a cliffhanger. They got the main shaft that they've been working, they finally got permission from the provincial government of Canada to dig in this one location. They had to have permission to dig on their own property.
Mm-hmm.
Got down within, they got down to their limit. Canada would only let them dig so far down. Then the guy got down there in the bottom, hit it with the metal detector, and he goes, "That's gold." The metal detectors can tell you what it is.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "That's gold. That's a lot of gold."
The fellow that created and wrote most of the Doc Savage pulp stories invented the metal detector.
Ah,
And it's basically the same thing as a minesweeper back in the day.
yeah.
He, his name is on the patent still. Um, as I stare into the far distance, trying to remember all these crazy details that my brain has stored away over the last half a century.
Do you know this stuff is more expensive than human blood per milliliter?
Yes, I saw the meme. Yeah.
Looks like printer ink.
Yes.
Yeah.
More expensive than human blood.
Yeah.
It's more expensive than a. Okay, it's not green room.
Oh, all right.
There are very few things that's less expensive than. Let's just say that.
It's my turn. I'm muting the mic before I unplug everything.
Yep. When he gets back, I'll have to go. Ah, gin kind of dehydrates you.
Yes, it does. That's
I
why they
didn't.
invented the gin and tonic.
What do you think? Well, pink
Actually, it kind
grapefruit
of looks
juice
like
tonic.
gasoline if you want to know the truth. But
Huh? You thought? Yeah. Well, I'm getting fired up. No, I didn't. I didn't stop. I thought I had more beer than I wound up actually with when I got home and counted them. Having to dip into the Bombay Sapphire. I've still got 4 in the little fridge over there. I'm fixing to get one to rehydrate.
that's what I'm doing, rehydrating.
Hmm. That does taste very good. It helps that I was a little bit more conservative with the gin than I was a couple of weeks ago, and um, little bit, little bit of Angostura bitters and a couple of teaspoons of lime juice, and then the pink grapefruit tonic water, which is really good. That stuff tastes good all by itself, and basically just fill the glass. We don't have an ice maker. We can't we can't do ice from our water because it rusts. There's too much iron in the well water. Uh, and before anybody suggests it, I've got filters on it. They don't make filters that'll take the iron out that I can afford. Um, thought about thought about getting a great big household filter and putting magnets all around it.
Hmm.
I'd probably have to change it very frequently. Georgia used to be the bottom of an inland sea or uh, an arm of the Atlantic, so All that red clay comes from iron in the water that's settled on the sea bottom. So, all right, my turn. I will be right back.
All right. Yeah, we got Georgia red clay here, but it's a little further down the hill from me. Oh, I told you I had used that new electric tiller to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have right where where I'm working digging it out. I have not got into the dirt layer. I'm still in topsoil
That's good.
at about 14 inches.
It's very good,
Excuse me. Yeah, if they ever decide to cut this hill down, they're going to make a fortune on topsoil. Could drive the price of topsoil down. Oh, so what did I miss while I was gone?
Oh, everything. I mean, it's hey, we had naked supermodels and just everything. That's what you get for just walking away.
Oh, we got another little hit on Stupid O'Clock.
I saw that. What did it say? What it was?
Prince's song Trust.
Again?
From 2020. April of 2020.
They've already hit us with it once. They hit us with it again. What did they do? Sell the song and the new guy hit us?
Well, they muted it, so it's like, okay. So it must have came through Stupid O'Clock, finally got caught. I know, it just took them over 3 years to find the problem.
I hope that damn algorithm that hunts those damn things costs them billions. I really do. I really do. I hope somebody out there is charging them lots of extra money just to run that on servers.
So, yeah.
Hey, that reminded me, if I ever run for president and win, become president of the United States, to start taxing anything on the internet that gathers data. Okay. So that when they want to know your phone numbers, they can sell you lots of advertising. I want to tax the advertising.
Oh, yeah.
Tax all the advertisers. All these people that are running the algorithms that are looking for, hey, you played my song, you owe me $1 million. Yeah, I want to tax those people.
Oh, Dan took his headset off. He missed the whole conversation about him.
Darn it.
Like I should care.
Well, you should. I just figured out a way to solve the budget deficit.
So did the French.
We're going to start all these people that start gathering data off of American internet users. We're going to start taxing them for gathering data. And whenever one of these programs runs and says, hey, you stole our song, you owe us $1 million, it's going to tax them.
At 35%.
So something. Yeah.
Noticed that we got hit with one of those again for one of the shows.
Evidently, it must have been the Stupid O'Clock page.
Probably somebody trying to claim that they own the national anthem again.
No, it was the Prince song, Trust.
From the Batman movie.
From the Batman movie. The show aired April of 2020.
Well, it took them a while to figure it out.
We got away with it this long. And we're still broadcasting, so I didn't. No, I'm not going to say nothing.
Oh, speaking of getting canceled for broadcasting stuff. Okay. One of my favorite comedians is Uncle Roger. No, if he always wears the orange polo shirt, and he does this comedy routine about cooking shows. And his big series of jokes is about Americans and Europeans that are trying to do Asian cooking, and they say it's authentic, and then in his opinion, they totally screw it up.
Mm-hmm.
And like one of his favorite ones to rag on is Jamie Oliver, because every time Jamie Oliver cooks something, he uses olive oil, and he's like, "Hey, Asian cooking, Asians don't use olive oil." So, anyway, he was doing one of his comedy routines. I posted it to Stupid O'Clock. If you want to go. He was making fun of China. Okay. So China banned all of his Chinese social media accounts. And he's like, it's kind of funny. He says, "I've been banned in China. Please buy my comedy special."
We're banned in 79 countries.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they're not going to hear that Trust by Prince in 79 countries now.
Oh. What you want to bet? 78 of them don't have electricity.
Poor Uncle Roger.
Yep.
I think Carl knows what I'm talking about, because that's hilarious. He's like,
Oh, well, we got 6 viewers. One is from my Facebook page. Hello, friend or family.
or
And
foe.
then the rest are on YouTube.
I do wonder about that. We keep getting people that sign up for Stupid O'Clock, and it's people I don't know. There's people and I'm always, it must be somebody that somebody Joe knows. But sometimes I look at the profiles and I wonder, if they've got that in their Facebook profile, why the heck are they watching this show?
Cheap substitute for sleeping pills.
Hi, yeah. Okay. But what's his name? Robbie Coltrane.
Yeah.
Played
The late Robbie Coltrane.
Played Hagrid in the Harry Potter series. And when J.K. Rowling made her statement about transgender people and stuff like that, or what wasn't about all transgender, she just basically said transgender women are women, which for healthcare reasons, yes, it doesn't matter what you want to be. It's how the plumbing works when it comes to drugs and medicine, stuff like that. And he came to her defense and said, there are people out there that they get on Twitter and Facebook and all these other pages, and the only reason they get on these pages is because they're looking for something to be offended by. They don't know what it is, but they'll let you know when they find it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all I'm going to say, if I ever become single again and find someone that I find attractive and all that, I am going to do have them do the chair test. John knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes. I'm just not saying anything because it takes you forever to tell a joke.
No, that's
That
the
that
joke.
was the end of it. However, I haven't the faintest idea what you're talking about, unless it's if they sit like Will Riker.
No, no. Uh, you stand close to a wall to where you bend over and touch your head on the wall. Pick up a chair, then stand up. Guys can't do it.
You know, I've always heard that and I never quite understood it.
I've
Women
seen guys
can.
do it at a party. I mean, back before, I mean, in the 70s,
Yeah.
back before any of this was a
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah. The guy, for some reason, a guy can't balance himself enough to lift the chair up. The girl, women can. Just no problem.
I've never understood that because I've always been able, you know, of course, I was in the military for 27 years. They tell you to move a chair, you move a chair. But
Really? Um, okay, I'm gonna take that one with a grain of salt. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'm going to
you
have to
know,
see some
people are
scientific
different.
studies.
People are different. You know, some
It
people,
really.
yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of women can't do that. I'm pretty sure there are a bunch of men that can. It's just, you know, muscles and training.
Oh, that's probably why people were trying it at parties in the 70s at college. It
It
was
was
on
part.
an
It was
episode of All in the Family.
yeah.
Of course, Gloria was this short little woman, and Archie Bunker was a bit overweight. So, you know, that's not exactly the study group you want for the test.
Well, you've got to remember this is also done at parties where if you bend over and put your head against the wall, you might need somebody with a come along to stand you upright again, whether you're holding a chair or not. Uh, University of Georgia was on the short list of colleges that they were going to film Animal House.
Oh no,
Yes, and we
no.
lost.
There's a news story out. I'm going to read it. An infectious pathogen silently spreads to over 90% of California's cannabis farms, destroying THC production.
Read that again.
An infectious pathogen silently spreads to over 90% of California's cannabis farms, destroying THC production.
That's a gimmick to raise prices.
See, apparently the pathogen is cuts. You get a 30% reduction in plant weight. Hop latent viroid is what it's called.
Sounds like it's something that used to affect um, hop plants, like are used in beers, hops,
Yeah.
and somehow or another genetically mutated far enough to be able to.
Well, they have similar flowers.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
And
Uh,
bees can't tell the difference.
Well, we can tell the difference if bees, you know, if a bee lands on a hot plant, it flies off. If a bee lands on a pot plant, it kind of stays there a little longer. Buzz, man, buzz. Why do you think they call it a buzz? Um,
no, I can't tell
John,
that story. I can't tell that story. That I'm sorry. Perfectly good story. I'm sorry, I can't tell it. I don't know that guy's still alive, and if he's not, I don't want to besmirch his memory.
I don't care. I'm not telling. So
No, neither was he. He did fly home from one of the adult resorts in Jamaica with a spleef in his sock. Made it to the airport too. Of course, this was the 70s. They weren't so vigilant about teeny tiny things like DeLorean's suitcases. Oh, hey, Chris. Yeah. Whether it's true or not, it's a good reason to raise prices.
Yep.
Not really. No.
I mean, for them,
You got too many growers now. You can't raise prices.
watch them.
Oh, there's earworms everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Look at my name, Dan.
We can't take you nowhere nice.
Now that he's stuck. Now everybody just look down to see what Joe Dog wrote. Now it's stuck in their head. I love it. It's been stuck in my head all day. I had to share. It's the only way you can get rid of them. Got to share them.
I just pull up the sound file and play it, and then play something else equally as infectious.
See what I started, Dan?
Yeah,
Even Carl's following along.
If our audience was bigger tonight, we could get the entire lyrics on here and then get another copyright strike for the comment section posting lyrics. And not a single person complaining is a member of Kansas.
Oh, none of the bands from Kansas?
None of the people in the band Kansas.
Are from Kansas?
None of the people in the band are complaining that we would post the lyrics.
Oh.
Sorry, got a little bit too abstruse.
Yeah.
Wow, I can still say that after that big of a gin and tonic? Ooh, I'm doing good.
Yeah, here it goes.
Yep. Now, watch somebody slip in a Boston lyric just to be rude.
Yeah, Dan's just sitting there smoking. But he's not in the boys' room.
Oh, Lord, I got in the biggest argument with some teenagers one time about exactly that song.
Oh, thinking Motley Crue did it?
They had never heard of Brownsville Station. And I pulled the cassette out of my car, popped it in the tape deck, and played it for them. I go, this was released in the 70s.
Hello, Keisha, wherever you are.
Haven't seen
From
that one yet.
Facebook.
Oh, okay.
So she's on my page. Keisha's the one sneaking in on my page.
Well, won't be too much longer before her baby is due. Hope everything goes well.
Oh. My daughter told us last night they want to have another child.
She'll get over it.
Yeah. Of course, I feel sorry for my granddaughter because they found out she's allergic to the world.
That happens.
She's allergic to cats, mosquito bites, dust. What's wrong with people today? What have we ingested that has fouled up our chemistry that we throw weird
Chemicals. All the dust you're sucking in has got radiological material and toxic waste.
I'm surprised after as many years as I've spent in the factory, I'm not allergic to fiberglass dust.
Well, working in that race shop, I worked in the body shop. I became allergic to Bondo dust.
Okay. I bet there was no OSHA requirement at that time to wear a mask.
There was, but who the hell?
Okay.
Hey, let me rephrase. We were a race shop in Soddy Daisy, Tennessee.
We don't need no stinking rules.
I can't breathe in this thing.
I can relate. I can relate. We've had several different varieties of dust masks that are, well, let's just say the 70s model of the N95 mask that we are all intimately familiar with today was much easier to breathe through than the modern one and did a much better job.
Of course, now the real professional paint booths, you step into this full body hazmat suit that has an air hose hooked to the back of it that runs to the outside to blow fresh air into you.
Yeah, and if you're lucky, it's hooked up to an air conditioner too.
Yeah.
Because once you're inside one of those suits, you're going to start sweating whether you are working or not. Unless it's the middle of December and someplace really cold. And even then, once you start moving around, your body heat's not going anywhere but reflected right back at you.
And it zips up from the back.
Yeah.
Hood, all one piece.
We've had OSHA tests where we were told that people with beards could not wear the heavy duty mask because we couldn't get a decent closure. And these are the masks with different cartridges for different particulates. So they would give us this great big old hood and have to have a hose with cool air blowing into it. And I'm going, well, if it wasn't for the fact that this is one of those disposable bodysuit sort of things with a hood, it would probably be all right to work in, but I'm not going to be like one of the NASA astronauts toting around a little portable air conditioner all day.
Yeah. And what's so funny is these things look like the TOS Star Trek spacesuits.
Oh, yeah. I always thought those were based on beekeepers. It's like an oversized fencing mask.
Yeah.
Boy, I bet the props department hated them, blew their budget for the rest of the year with that one episode.
Well, Battlestar Galactica. Budget constraints. You know why in Battlestar Galactica all the paper is not rectangular? It's got the little corners at an angle.
No.
ABC told Glenn Larson, you're going to have to start cutting some corners on some of these scripts. And he took a pair of scissors on that script and went and sent it to the prop department and says, we got to cut corners. Here's an idea. I handed them the script.
Reality. What a concept.
And it made way into canon. Even the new series of Battlestar had to cut corners on all the paper.
Oh, Chris, I don't know if it was a buildup of immunity. It might have been a breakdown of immunity. It's entirely possible that back in the day, when we were kids, we were exposed to a lot of stuff that nowadays kids are shielded from, sequestered away from, not allowed to build up immunity to. In other words, I don't have the faintest idea whether that's got any basis in fact or not, but I have noticed that a lot of kids have, I won't say more health problems, but are diagnosed with health problems that maybe we had back then, just didn't know what it was and carried on anyway. My wayward son. We've only got one like? Oh.
I think I found the story.
Oh.
I clicked on Battlestar Galactica and it's telling me about Stargate. Even the title says Battlestar Galactica. Never mind. All right, I quit. Yeah, Chris is right. We were exposed to more dirt. Oh, about Carl's comment. Eat a McDonald's cheeseburger. You'll be fine. Do you know they say that there is enough preservative in the human bodies now from the food they eat that our corpses may not decay?
Well, I don't intend to quit using mine, so I certainly hope not. Talk about making it hard to get a date.
Yeah, when they throw the embalming fluid in with all the extra preservatives, you'll look like pretty much like when you closed up, just a little more dehydrated.
Either that or it'll spontaneously combust.
Now there's you a good story.
Oh,
that's still something that science hasn't said is yay or nay. Spontaneous human combustion.
Well, they have diagnosed the Wick effect, and there's no way to. Okay, let me try and say this carefully. There's no way to prove that that's what's going on, but so far nobody has been able to eliminate it entirely.
Yeah.
But there have been scientific tests done. And I probably shouldn't describe them because some of our audience might be squeamish.
Well,
But
I've
yeah,
seen the investigations to where a leg didn't fully consume.
mm-hmm, yeah. Or 1 foot with the shoe is left, and um, burns a hole in the floor, but the arms and the back of the chair they were sitting in is perfectly fine, if a bit smoke damaged. Yeah, there's a lot of variations on all of that, and it's
I've got, I've figured it out what it is. An alien disintegration ray.
that probably wouldn't. Well, yeah, it might. Damn it! There's
I,
usually there's usually human DNA deposited on the walls of the room, and I started to say that wouldn't explain that, but disintegration ray, yeah, it would. Um,
see, just the dumb old rednecks done figured out. It's alien. It's aliens. It's aliens.
Carl probably wants a word with you about that one.
Exactly,
uh,
Don. Of course, now a new project is in Dan's head. How am I going to write that one?
nope, I got too much other stuff already in the pipeline. Uh,
I'm not even putting that one up. No.
Carl, we're not talking about the kind that you can see with the black light and the luminol. Um, it's a different DNA source entirely.
And it's
Uh,
only half the DNA.
it's the only half that's there. Oh,
What?
okay. I just figured out where the other half was.
Oh.
Somebody got to check the dryer length.
Oh, this has been popping up in my YouTube feed. Have you seen some of these dryer vent cleaning videos?
I've seen a few.
This guy's the thing that he uses, it was so packed with lint, it couldn't go in. He had to start reaching in and pulling it out in clumps.
Oh, yeah.
They said the customer complained the dryer wouldn't dry their clothes. So he
Yeah.
went and bought a new one and it did the same thing.
Well, okay. This may be apocryphal. I don't know. But I have seen it claimed that fabric softener dryer sheets actually make the lint traps in dryers extra sticky
Yes, it
so
does.
that they hold on. So, that may be real. I don't know.
Hey, seriously, we've had a house fire because of a dryer vent. And if you don't think that stuff's flammable, just take some out in the yard and light it with a cigarette lighter.
Oh, there's a guy that does survival videos that said,
Yeah,
"Hey,
they tell you to
save
take a
save the
waterproof. bottle or whatever, packet full of lint, take it with you, and you can use it as
Yeah,
tinder to
and
get your fire started.
Toilet paper rolls.
well, that's a little bit large for a fire starter, but yeah, you could do that.
You just pull a little out,
Yeah.
and then one of them.
We were always taught to take one of these.
Oh, now you're going to have to explain to the younger people what that is, John.
This is what we kept our LSD in back in the 60s.
No, nobody ever owned that much, except dealers. Uh,
No, this one guy. He says, "Here's what you do," and he put like tape on the bottom of it. Poured a wax cap, about that much wax inside the toilet paper roll with the toilet paper still on it. Stuffed the dryer lint in it, and then put a wax cap on top of it.
so you've got a supply of toilet paper and a fire starter at the same time.
Yeah.
Hey, trust me, it's no fun going to the bathroom in the dark.
I do it all the time.
We used to make jokes in the military about latrine lights, especially when we were in Iraq, because everything was a porta toilet. They had to be at least 150 feet away from any of the buildings. And Iraq has some interesting creepy crawler critters running around.
This is true. Camel spiders are frightening looking little things.
And scorpions, and they've got savannah, something similar to a savannah monitor, just meaner.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, and they don't want you turning your flashlight on out in the middle of the blackout time to make sure there's nothing in the porta-john while you're trying to take a poop.
They should have blackout curtains on the vents.
Oh, we'd go in there with the little, and everybody had they had these things called Nova lights, a little keychain LED thing. You press the button. Most people would take something like that, but I had one of these.
Yep.
And the nice thing about it was you can pull a little blackout cap off the end of it, and it makes a nice Harry Potter wand. And it's got the clip on it to put it in your pocket, so you can actually like hang it on the springs or whatever inside the porta toilets.
Oh, when I was doing you've seen the IR, the breaky lights that.
Yes. Oh yeah.
They make them for infrared.
Yeah, they make infrared chem lights. You break them, and if it's pitch black, you can sort of see them with a slight purple glow, but it's just hard to see. But if you put on night vision, you can see everything around you.
I mean, it lights up the world. I used them when I was ghost hunting. For extra light for our infrared cameras. It was pretty slick.
The one that flipped me out is our artillery people had flares for the 155 howitzers. The flares were infrared.
How did that work?
I have no clue. But they would fire these things over the top, and you could see them when they pop because there'd be like sparks coming off of the igniters and such.
Hey, Zach.
Parachute would deploy, and you might see a few sparks pop off, as bits and pieces of thread and stuff like that from the parachute was burning. You might see some little orange sparks. But once it got going, you could sort of hear them, but you couldn't really see them. But you put on your night vision goggles, and everything would be lit up like daylight. I am going to send Mr. Zach an invite real quick.
Yeah, I want to hear his review of the Virgin flight today.
Hey Zach, I'm putting it in your Discord as per my usual. It's there.
Oh, but yeah,
Yeah, we had South Korea launched their communication satellite. SpaceX launched a bunch of Starlink satellites from Vandenberg. We put the tourist on the International Space Station, and Iran has supposedly they've launched a ballistic missile that can dodge radar. I have no idea how that works because I'm not much into Iranian propaganda, but
I want to hear a physicist's opinion on this one.
does it dodge radar or is it?
They said dodge.
they said dodge radar. I'm like,
That's probably about as efficacious as dodging between the raindrops so that you stay dry without an umbrella.
That's almost as bad as North Korea several years ago said they flew a man to the sun.
I know the punchline. Go ahead.
No, brought him back, displayed him as a national hero. In the press conference, yeah, I went to the sun. It was hot.
okay, you do know that in North Korea, Kim Il Sung, the leader, okay, it is part of his history that he does not use the bathroom. He does not defecate. It just goes away because he's a god.
That would explain why he's so fat.
Full of yes.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, Zach.
Zach, you're muted.
Hello.
Hello.
So
So,
where are you? And why are you on the space shuttle? What? No, what?
No, he's in a helicopter.
Oh, that is okay.
Well, flying back from Texas. No, I'm still in Florida. This is the studio on a different side angle.
Gotcha.
Did ULA do their test today?
No, they broke it. The booster ignition thing, they tried to test it at about T-4 hours, and it went no. So they're rolling the rocket back in. They're going to open it up and see what's going on.
Okay,
You are false data.
Okay, which rocket is this?
Vulcan.
Vulcan. That's their new one. Okay.
The new one.
Yeah, I expect them to have problems with that for the next 30 years.
Teething problems.
Well, when you said that just made me think the phrase for ULA holds true again. You know what that is, don't you?
Which one?
Unable to launch anything.
On time. On time. They always launch everything. Just not on the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th launch date.
And sometimes it's just going sideways instead of up.
I
And what happened with the SpaceX launch last night?
Weather.
Oh, the weather.
Yeah, we're in the 3-month-ish window where weather sucks every day.
Is that the Arabsat?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the new Arabsat. So for the next 3 months, get used to them running the clock down to T-45 seconds and being like, no.
So it's pretty much whether or not it goes up.
Exactly. Yeah, unfortunately, that's where it lands.
When I was in 3rd grade, my mom's husband at the time was working in TVA. So we used to move around a lot. And at this time, we were working on some project he was working on some project down in Orlando. We moved to Orlando. And we were living there. And, man, that's some crazy weather.
I mean, you can be in a full-on hurricane, walk 5 feet, and it's sunny.
We went to Disney World to do a parade, the high school marching band. And the entire weekend we were there, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 15-minute shower.
Yep.
Just buckets. 15 minutes later, steam going back up, sun's back out, rain's gone.
I was going to say it wasn't a shower, it was a fire hose above you, but
Pretty
yeah,
much.
15 minutes
Elementary
was
school.
normal.
I went to Redbug Elementary School in Orlando. It's actually outside of it's the greater Orlando area, and it literally one day on our school play yard rained on half the playground.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and
yeah.
everybody was standing on the other side of the playground going.
I was driving down the causeway last week down to the press site, and on one side of the road there's water, and it was downpouring fire hoses. The road was dry, and on the left side it was downpouring water. But
NASA does
on
that.
the road.
NASA does that on purpose.
Yeah, it was part of their irrigation system or something,
Irritation system, maybe.
Natural habitat.
No, I've right here in this house, I've had it raining in the front yard, not raining in the backyard. That's a very sharply defined cloud.
Mm-hmm.
But I suppose that happens everywhere. If you've got rain somewhere 5 feet away from where it's coming down, it's not.
Yep.
All right, let me go get another gin and tonic here for the next show.
That explains why United Launch Alliance can't launch anything.
What?
They're a joint venture between Lockheed Martin Space and Boeing Defense Space and Security.
For now. So there are, as confirmed as we're going to get, rumors that they are currently in negotiations on splitting and being sold out or bought out or dividing. Whatever that means, take it as you will. They won't confirm it, but they won't not confirm it either. So, which, if that wasn't true, you would not confirm it. So.
Now, the whole rocket side of each individual company is splitting up?
No, all of ULA.
It's going...
The whole company is in talks. There's apparently conversations about it splitting. We don't know much more. It's been a couple months since that rumor dropped, and some people tried to ask Tory, and he's like, I'm not going to comment on that. And I was like, well, if it's not true, you would say it's not true. So there's some truth to it.
Okay, so...
Well, I just had a weird feeling that one of the companies could possibly become related with the beginning of the ocean color.
Blue?
Do you think they maybe
I don't think they need it. From the people I've talked to, I don't think they need it. I think people will be very surprised when New Glenn just rolls out to the pad, fully stacked, like ready to go. Like, people don't realize how big that facility, like, even when you're here, you do not realize how large that facility is until you actually stop and look at the lobby and realize there's a whole New Shepard booster in the lobby. And you're like, oh, that fits in the fairing of New Glenn. And that's just the lobby. There's a whole hotel in their New Glenn, in their facility down here, so all of their crew can stay there and their families. There's a lounge. There's, like, it's a huge facility. No other space company has a facility like the Blue Origin facility here is, in how developed it is across their entire operation.
Virgin Orbital apparently went bankrupt and sold off everything.
So they sold all their assets. They are bankrupt. They technically aren't shut down yet, like people are saying.
Really?
They don't own anything or any buildings or any planes, and they are bankrupt next month. But that wouldn't be the first time we've seen a company do that either. But the final kind of nail in the coffin was that the UK government said they weren't going to bail them out. So
I'm curious if somebody else is going to like buy up their assets and use it somewhat, like ULA.
Stratolaunch, Rocket Lab, and Vast Launcher bought all their stuff. So Stratolaunch is the company that has the Rock, which is that huge plane that drops the little, really, really tiny bus-sized plane under it. They released a picture. I'll see if I can find it today. They bought Cosmic Girl, already released a picture of it with the new like livery that they're going to put on the plane.
Oh.
And they've edited that they're going to launch that little plane from, I mean, it's as official as we can get. Let's see if this will screen share. Share. Do you want to record?
Hey, Josh.
Maybe. I don't know. If you want to pull that up.
And they're going to launch what?
They've got this little space plane hypersonic cruise missile
On the bottom of it.
Yeah. They launched it off of the Strato. What's that other plane called?
The Rock.
The Rock. ROC. They've been launching the test article off the Rock here for the last couple weeks or something.
Oh, good night, Dawn. See, Dawn, you've got us all. When you said that, I looked up and saw, hey, John, it's time. Oh, now, wasn't the Rock originally designed to carry a Falcon 9?
No. People joked about it, but no.
Oh. Because that would be the perfect way to get the Falcon 9 from California to Florida.
It's more fun to drive it, though.
They have boats.
Yeah, they don't use the boats, though. They should.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
they don't transport the Falcons. They all drive them. They're perfectly designed that they can fit on the back of a semi and be driven across the United States.
And they stop in McGregor for engine test, right?
Yep.
And they stop at Buc-ee's for
beef jerky.
There you go. Thank you.
Still haven't done that.
You got to do
and
that.
Dawn says she will not be at LMS tonight, Dan.
I kind of figured when she said earlier that she was extremely tired.
South Korea launched their rocket today.
Yep.
And or last night, whatever. And was it 8 satellites?
All I know is it launched and I was fast asleep. I missed that one.
Oh.
I thought one of our other team was covering it, and they thought I was covering it. So, oops. And then we all hoped we were going to cover Virgin Galactic, but no one got to cover that because when cameras.
And they didn't even live stream it, right?
Nope. There was nothing. It was a Twitter updates that were like 5 minutes behind what was actually happening. So
that's boring.
Yeah, and there wasn't enough notice to get someone out there. Otherwise, we would have tried to probably send one of our rocket chasers out with a camera. But it was like 24 hours notice, and it's in the middle of nowhere.
Well, British Space News was there.
They had an incredible shot. I have to give them that. They had an incredible shot and caught the drop, which is very hard to do. So
okay.
It's not Spaceflight now. Space.com had a video of the launch and then everybody unbuckling from the seatbelt and then everybody rushing to get back to their seat.
That's about right. Yeah, they get 4 minutes on Spaceship 2 compared to New Shepard's 3, so they get an extra minute for an extra about $200,000.
So
Gives
it's
a-
cost you
About $400,000.
$400,000 a minute.
$400,000 roughly a person.
It's a typical weight loss program. You spend too much money and you don't get it for very long.
It all comes back.
It all comes back.
And guys, it is time. It is 57.
Alrighty.
Dan, you got your side set up ready to go?
Yep. I'm already over there.
All right. Zach, thanks for dropping in. Love talking with you. I got a few questions to ask you after the show, so hang around for a second.
Yeah, I got a couple minutes, and then we got Rocket Lab.
Okay. All right. We'll holler at everybody. Well, I won't be here Saturday, so
Unacceptable.
yeah. And Dan and John will be flying the ship, so y'all have fun. And we'll talk. I'll see y'all next Thursday night. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand, and touched the face of God.
Oh, son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?